I am Luis Machuca, and this is Hating in the City. We live in constant nostalgia because any time prior to today is better than living in Nazi America. 1998 is such a time because that's when Sex and the City was released. Multiple times a year, now in 2025, there's a viral TikTok, a segment on Good Morning America, a tweet from your gay cousin about how Carrie Bradshaw had bad taste in men. She lived outside her means and was a crappy friend. Florals for spring? A female character flawed and complicated? It's actually groundbreaking from the 90s. And I'm here to tell you, Sex and the City adoration, it's not reality, it's bullshit. I happen to be a flaming homosexual who spends his time with loving, caring, acid dropping on weekends, ready to fight the patriarchy on Monday kind of people. So lesbians. Interactions with other gays happen through friends of friends. This interaction that I'm going to tell you about happened through my Judy, a Puerto Rican king named Alejandro. He lives in DC and works for the government. For now. He's coming to New York to meet a Boston boy he's been sexing for months. They met in Hinge or Tinder or whatever app average-looking gays used to meet each other. I prefer to meet men the old school way, storytelling shows. So I meet Alejandro and Boston Boy for church Sunday service, drag brunch. I was a little late because I didn't want to be there. And so once I get there at the table, there's Boston Boy, and he's a late 20s, opinionated grad student at NYU, and four other gays that I've met a bunch of times. And they are corporate girlies who run the human resources department with an iron fist. They have 401ks and the receding hairline to prove it. I'm usually the youngest at 35, with Britney Spears PTSD eyes, because I decided to become a social worker. However, the hairline, intact. So after a fantastic brunch of Bellinis, lip syncs, and a 50 milligram edible, the topic turned to Sex and the City. And wouldn't you know, the Boston Boy had a lot to say about it. And I almost tuned him out, but then he said, Carrie is a bad friend who couldn't possibly afford her life and is desperate for men. And I took that personally. He tells me he saw Sex and the City when it came out on Netflix last year. Can we talk to each other here? Because the show's been on HBO for as long as I've been alive, and he just saw it and wants to be contrarian to a group that includes someone who moved to New York because of Sex and the City. So because I'm a social worker, I first assess. So I ask him, Boston Boy, what is your Twitter handle? He excused himself for the bathroom. And you might be wondering why I asked for his Twitter handle, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the gays parading in Sex and the City discourse are chronically online. They've lost context. They're active on Twitter, and it's unclear if it's to share their thoughts or dick pictures. But by the way he left the table, I can tell you that he is active on Twitter as a fan of a mediocre pop star, Katy Perry. These haters, overused to death, words like gagged, iconic, and legendary to describe their clothes. They call everybody mother except their own. And I'm here to tell you that no, beloved, your Ben Affleck plaid shirt is not legendary, it's generic. And yes, every once in a while you make a witty comment, but that doesn't make you hilarious. You're not Joan Rivers. You're not even half as funny as Miss Piggy. These haters are the kind of people who are convinced that they have ADHD because they saw a video on TikTok. No, beloved, you do not have ADHD. You just gotta cut back on the iced coffee and the Adderalls and the poppers and the Ozempic you got in Mexico. And so these Sex and the City haters are the kind of people that take part in multiple group chats. Why? If I wanted that much conversation, I'd stop my meds and listen to the voices in my head. They are the kind of people who want to be included and tend to be people pleasers in behavior, but contrarian in thought. You know what this is called? It's called gay cognitive dissonance. Can you say it with me? Gay Cognitive dissonance. It's not on the DSM yet, but after this, that'll happen. And really think about it. It's a mind bender to be gay because men are trash. And we are also men. So like you are a man who likes men. You already have bad taste. However, the Sex and the City girlies, the girlies that love Sex and the City are the kind of people that give you a gift on your birthday. When you're sick, they visit and they bring food. They don't text mindlessly throughout the day. We're gonna invite you to a sushi happy hour. We are the girlies who practice self-care in real life. Positive affirmations, exercises, shroom on the weekends. They are the kind of people that enjoy our single girly activities, like Carrie. She eats saltines, reading fashion magazines in the kitchen, which is the 2025 equivalent of binging Doritos, dancing in the mirror, shaking your reflection, and texting your best friend, "Girl, I think my butt getting big." Most gays can't relate. They can't do those single girly activities because they cannot host. They weren't lucky as me or Carrie to have rent control apartments. And like, they talk about it all the time. Like, Boston Boy has been living here for 6 years. You should know better. You should leave the internet and join the real world. You should spend an afternoon at Central Park and you're gonna meet a 65-year-old sculptor who lives on Billionaire Row in a 1,200 square feet apartment paying $500 a month. But don't ask how we got it, because it was the 90s and they used to call him Cokie. I pause because it's kind of upsetting that I have to even explain this. So I'm gonna look at you when I tell you this. Carrie was not a bad friend. Yeah, she's self-centered and she's self-obsessed and she's self-loathed at time. Isn't that the profile of an artist? And like, really think about it. She was a single woman living in New York, working as an independent contractor. She had material to find and deadlines to meet. Is Carrie really a bad friend because she couldn't pick up Miranda from LASIK? Her ex-boyfriend, who bartends at night and does nothing all day, is right there. And he offered. Is Carrie a bad friend? Miranda is inconsiderate. Have we thought of that? I have, because I'm a social worker. So I consider Boston Boy's perspective, and I feel bad for him. He's someone who can't recognize greatness, someone who doesn't get art. He's someone who has lived in New York for years, but hasn't randomly ran into a guy they're sort of dating for a matinee at AMC Lincoln. I feel sad that he hasn't experienced the thrill of running around with your best outfit to meet the current situationship for a great dinner that'll end in mind-blowing sex, heartbreak, and a lifetime of regrets. So instead of arguing with Boston Boy at the brunch table, I take a breath, I look at him in the eye. You are a single homosexual living in New York. Your entire life is a Sex and the City reference. Respect your history, homo. And then I order a Cosmo.